Ladies and gentlemen, there are chapters in life that feel paused, as though we are standing in a doorway between the person we once were and the person we are becoming. In these moments, we are tempted to question the path, to question our progress, and even to question ourselves. But the journey of becoming has its own rhythm. It unfolds quietly, often in the unseen spaces of our hearts and minds. What looks like delay may actually be the most important part of the process. Not everything meant for us arrives on our schedule. It arrives when we are ready to truly receive it, and the readiness we seek begins within. The unseen is always working. Even when our outer world appears motionless, when progress feels suspended and life seems to stand still, something deep within us continues to shift. Growth rarely announces itself with noise or spectacle. It moves quietly, like roots expanding underground, strengthening their hold long before the tree is ever seen. The spaces of waiting we often consider empty are, in truth, full of silent transformation. We may not feel different day to day, but slowly, through experiences, disappointments, patience, reflection, and time, something within us evolves. The unseen is the realm where our intentions meet our becoming. There are forces in life we do not witness with our eyes, but we sense with our intuition. The unconscious mind, the part of us that stores everything we have lived, learned, felt, desired, feared, and suppressed, never stops shaping who we are. While our conscious mind grows tired, distracted, frustrated, or eager to rush forward, the deeper mind continues its work at a pace that is deliberate and unhurried. It rearranges meaning. It filters our memories. It teaches us lessons we did not even know we needed. The unconscious is sculpting us quietly, preparing us for what comes next. Even when the conscious self believes nothing is happening, life's timing is not aligned with our impatience. There are seasons when the world asks us to act, to strive, to move forward with intensity, and then there are seasons where life asks us to be still. Stillness is not stagnation. In stillness, the unseen is active. It restores what has been depleted. It gathers strength. It organizes clarity. It allows our inner world to catch up to the outer possibilities awaiting us. Just as night nurtures the day, silence nurtures transformation. Consider how seeds grow. If we were to dig up the soil every day to check for progress, we would interrupt the very process necessary for growth. There are parts of our development that require darkness. Darkness is not the absence of movement. It is the atmosphere where formation occurs. The unseen does not rush. It knows that depth is not created through speed, but through presence. Many people become discouraged when results are not immediate. They believe that if they cannot see change, no change is taking place. But the most meaningful transformations are subtle, gradual, and internal. A person becomes wiser not in a single moment of insight, but in the way countless experiences accumulate and reorganize themselves into understanding. A person becomes stronger not from a single challenge, but from the resilience shaped quietly through enduring many. What is unseen is not empty. It is preparation. There is also an unseen alignment occurring beyond the borders of our awareness. While we work on ourselves internally, life is moving externally. People who will matter to us are being shaped through their own journeys. Opportunities are forming through the choices of others. Timing is synchronizing in ways we cannot predict. Life is not chaotic, it is interconnected. Many events must align before a moment becomes right. We often believe our waiting is solitary, but we are part of a much wider unfolding. What is meant for us involves the readiness of circumstances, environments, relationships, and our own maturity. The unseen coordinates these threads. This invisible formation is not always comfortable. Waiting can feel like drifting. Uncertainty can feel like confusion. But these experiences, too, are part of the unseen work. They soften us. They humble us. They teach us to listen inwardly instead of outwardly. They refine our desires so that we seek what nourishes the soul rather than what merely satisfies the ego. The unseen shapes authenticity. Even healing works this way. A wound on the skin may look closed long before the deeper tissue has repaired. Emotional healing is similar. We may feel as if nothing has changed, but small shifts in how we think, respond, and feel are accumulating beneath our awareness. With time, we realize we are no longer triggered in the same ways, no longer seeking what once harmed us, no longer afraid of what once overwhelmed us. Change occurred quietly, faithfully, out of sight. The unseen is always working because life is always becoming. We are not static beings. Every moment contributes to who we are becoming next. And just because the eyes cannot yet see the results does not mean the transformation is not underway. Delay is preparation, not denial. When something we deeply want does not arrive in the moment we hope for it, our first response is often frustration or doubt. We begin to question ourselves, the path, or even the value of the desire itself. But life does not operate according to our impatience. It unfolds according to growth, readiness, and alignment. A delay is not the universe withholding something from us. It is the universe shaping us so that when the moment comes, we are capable of holding what we have asked for. Many dreams require not only desire, but depth. Many blessings require not only wanting, but wisdom. A delay provides the space necessary for this slow, internal construction. When we look back at the times we received something before we were emotionally or mentally prepared, we often see how easily it slipped from our hands, or how overwhelming it felt. The irony of life is that what we want most can break us if it arrives too soon. Love before maturity becomes attachment and fear. Success before discipline becomes self-sabotage. Freedom before self-awareness becomes confusion. We must grow into the version of ourselves who can protect, nurture, and understand the gifts we ask for. The delay is where that growth takes place. The process is rarely comfortable. To be made ready often means being stretched. It means being confronted with parts of ourselves we have avoided. It means being refined by challenges, disappointments, or quiet periods where nothing seems to move forward. These experiences are not meaningless. They are forming the capacity required to receive. Life deepens us through contrast. We learn resilience by facing what is difficult. We learn clarity by losing what was not for us. We learn patience by sitting in uncertainty. We learn strength by enduring what we believed would break us. Every experience during the delay is preparing us, shaping our inner world to support what will come in the outer world. There is also timing at play. The world around us is constantly shifting, and we are not isolated from it. People we are meant to meet are still learning their own lessons. Opportunities that belong to us are still being built. Circumstances that will support us are still aligning. Just as the seed does not bloom in winter, there are seasons in life that simply are not the right time for certain outcomes. A delay may not be about us being unready, but about the world not yet being in position. Alignment requires patience because alignment is complex. Life must gather many invisible threads into a single moment of possibility. And yet, during this gathering, the mind interprets stillness as stagnation. But the delay is movement of a different kind. It is an inward movement. It is silence doing a deep work. Just because we do not see change outwardly does not mean change is not occurring inwardly. A mountain grows imperceptibly. The sun rises 1 degree at a time. Much of life's grandeur is gradual. Much of our becoming is slow. The delay is the timeline of depth, not denial. Sometimes, delay is also protection. What we seek could harm us if we received it while carrying unresolved insecurity, unhealed wounds, or unclear intentions. Life waits for us to rise into clarity. To hold something with grace, we must first understand our relationship with it. A delayed blessing gives us the time to learn who we are without it, so that when it arrives, we do not lose ourselves inside it. We learn to stand on our own foundation. There are also lessons that cannot be rushed. Experience must be lived. Insight must be felt, not merely understood. Strength must be developed, not gifted. Character must be shaped, not handed to us. The delay is the classroom. It is where we learn to trust ourselves, trust life, and trust timing. It is where we learn to stay open-hearted even when we cannot yet see the outcome. It is where faith matures into knowing. In this way, delay is not life saying no. It is life saying, not like this, not yet, become first. It asks us to grow into someone who does not cling, rush, or panic. Someone who understands that what is meant will arrive as soon as we are aligned with it. The delay is where we learn how to receive. Inner growth comes before outer results. Every visible change in our lives is rooted in invisible shifts that happen long before anything manifests in the physical world. We often focus on achievements, outcomes, and the things we can point to and say, "Here is the proof." But these outer forms only appear after something has already begun to transform within us. The world responds to who we are becoming, not simply to what we want. Desire alone does not create change. It is the evolution of the self that shapes the path ahead. Many people try to force progress purely through action. They work harder, move faster, chase outcomes, and push themselves to exhaustion, believing that effort alone will produce results. Yet effort without alignment is like trying to grow a garden in soil that hasn't been prepared. The seeds may be scattered, but nothing meaningful takes root. Inner growth is the cultivation of the soil, the clearing of old beliefs, the healing of past wounds, the strengthening of identity, and the developing of clarity. When this inner foundation is tended, outer progress happens more naturally, almost effortlessly. What once felt forced begins to feel guided. We often underestimate the internal shifts required to sustain the things we hope to achieve. If someone seeks love but has not yet learned to trust, receive, or open themselves emotionally, the love they find will feel overwhelming or unsafe. If someone seeks success but has not built discipline, resilience, or integrity, the success will be unstable and easily lost. If someone seeks peace without understanding themselves, silence will feel uncomfortable instead of comforting. Outer results require inner capacity. The world does not give us what we ask for. It gives us what we are prepared to hold. Inner growth is not loud. It does not always look like progress. Often, it looks like confusion, frustration, questioning, and reevaluating. There are times when we feel as though we are moving backward, when in truth, we are shedding old patterns and beliefs that can no longer travel with us. Growth often begins with discomfort because transformation requires letting go of identities that once felt familiar but are no longer true. The self is not rebuilt in moments of ease. It is rebuilt through honesty, reflection, and the willingness to face parts of ourselves we once avoided. This internal work can feel invisible. No one sees the moments when we choose patience instead of reactivity. No one sees the quiet decisions to forgive, to pause, to try again. No one sees the nights spent understanding our emotions or rewriting the stories we tell ourselves. Yet these unseen movements are the groundwork of outer change. When the internal shifts become consistent, they eventually manifest outwardly, not because we forced change, but because change had already occurred within us. And inner growth is rarely linear. Just like seasons, there are times of blossoming and times of retreat. There are periods of clarity and periods of confusion. There are moments when everything feels aligned and moments when everything feels uncertain. But each phase has its purpose. Expansion requires integration. Learning requires resting. Becoming requires releasing. Growth is not merely forward movement, it is deepening. The outer world mirrors the inner world. Our relationships reflect how we value ourselves. Our opportunities reflect how ready we are to receive. Our environment reflects our internal state. If we carry fear, we will meet situations that reinforce it. If we carry self-worth, we will meet experiences that affirm it. To change one's life, one must first change the internal lens through which the world is perceived. This is why patience is essential. We may not see the results immediately, but the internal shifts are setting the stage. Like a flower developing beneath the soil, there is a phase where nothing seems to be happening, yet everything necessary for life is forming. The visible bloom arrives last. When we honor the process of inner growth, results no longer feel distant. They feel inevitable. We move differently, choose differently, speak differently, and carry ourselves with greater presence. And life responds to that presence, not suddenly and not all at once, but steadily and in harmony with our becoming. Outer results are simply reflections of the inner self, that has finally matured enough to receive them. Inner growth is the beginning, the visible world follows, divine timing protects us. There are moments in life when we feel ready, eager, and certain that something should happen now. We believe we have waited long enough, worked hard enough, hoped deeply enough. And yet, the moment does not arrive. The door does not open. The outcome remains out of reach. It is in these stretches of waiting that doubt tries to speak, leading us to believe we are being forgotten or denied. But what appears as delay can actually be a form of protection. There are events, relationships, opportunities, and changes that must occur in a particular order for life to unfold with stability and meaning. If they come too soon, they can harm us, unbalance us, or collapse before our character has grown strong enough to support them. There are versions of ourselves we have not yet become. We may think we are ready simply because we desire something, but readiness is not measured by desire. Readiness is measured by capacity. A person may want love, but if their heart is still guarded or shaped by old wounds, that love will feel threatening instead of nourishing. A person may want success, but if their identity is still fragile, success may amplify insecurity instead of purpose. A person may want freedom, but without inner guidance, freedom can feel like chaos rather than possibility. Divine timing ensures that we do not receive what we cannot yet hold with grace, clarity, and steadiness. Sometimes, protection comes in the form of delay because life can see what we cannot. We look at one moment, life sees an entire path. We know our hopes. Life knows our becoming. There are people who are not yet ready to meet us with honesty or care. There are opportunities that look promising, but may lead us into environments that could diminish our spirit. There are dreams that would require us to sacrifice aspects of ourselves we have not learned how to defend. Timing prevents us from stepping into situations that would cause us to abandon our values, our identity, or our emotional well-being. What feels like not yet is often not like this. Divine timing also protects the integrity of our journey. Growth must be lived, not skipped. We need certain lessons not as punishment, but as preparation. We learn how to choose ourselves through loss. We learn how to respect our worth through disappointment. We learn patience through uncertainty. We learn trust by standing in moments we cannot control. These experiences shape a deeper kind of knowing, one that cannot be rushed by answers or shortcuts. Without them, we might receive what we want but lack the wisdom to understand it or the resilience to sustain it. And while waiting, we are not simply paused. We are being rearranged from within. Old patterns dissolve. Outgrown identities soften and fall away. Our desires become more honest. Our choices become more intentional. We become more grounded in who we are rather than who we once pretended to be. This internal refining ensures that when the moment finally arrives, we recognize it, value it, and honor it. There is also a quiet orchestration taking place beyond us. Other people are growing, learning, choosing, and healing. Circumstances are shifting. Paths are being built. Conversations are being shaped. Someone we may need in the future is right now learning the very lessons that will allow them to stand beside us in the right way. What we are stepping toward is stepping toward us, but it cannot reach us until every piece is aligned. Timing is not just about us. It is about the whole tapestry of life weaving itself into coherence. We are protected not only from what is harmful, but also from what is premature. Life does not take away what is meant for us. It prepares us to receive it in its fullness. The right moment feels different. There is ease instead of forcing, clarity instead of confusion, groundedness instead of urgency. When everything aligns, we understand why we had to wait. The waiting was not empty. It was shaping us into someone capable of holding the very thing we were waiting for.